Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Thursday, December the 16th. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am here to go over an NBA 4-game main slate for this evening's action that starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. We had a good night last night. Could have been an awesome night, so I hate to complain when you win, but man, we were looking like we were going to take down everything and just got absolutely nothing out of Terrence Mann and very little out of Luke Kennard. So they are definitely on my dead list, if you will. They did not get it done in those late games, but we were still able to have some strong cashes, especially on Fanduel. On DraftKings, where we are able to make some noise. So tonight, hopefully we can hit all three. It's just a 4-game slate, and in each game, one of the teams is on the second night of a back-to-back. So that's going to change rotations, people that are resting. And then obviously all the COVID outbreak stuff is very concerning. So, man, fingers are crossed. I hope we get through this without any stoppages, cancellations, any of that kind of thing. So, here's hoping for the best, no doubt about it. All right. A couple of things here at DFS Coach Talk on Twitter. DFSCoachTalk.com is the website to go to sign up. We are in the middle of our 12 days of Christmas celebration, where you get 12 days of Coach Talk for $12, amongst other special offers. Just go to our website, DFSCoachTalk.com, and you'll see the specific offers on there. If you're watching this on YouTube today, please give us the quick thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and if you can, it'd really be appreciated if you'd make a little question, comment, whatever the case may be. It really helps us move up the algorithm on YouTube. Also, hit that little bell in the upper corner. That will give you an alert every time one of our podcast posts. We have a fantastic NFL podcast that is already posted for tonight's game, so check that out for sure. And like I say, when you hit that alarm button, then you know when our 7-day-a-week NBA podcasts and our 3 NFL podcasts post. And then joining back in soon will be PGA as we hit that Hawaiian run there come January, which is only a couple of weeks away. So that is it. We're looking to let's get this started today. We've got, again, like I say, 4 games. It's a competitive slate and, a lot of volatility here. So first thing is Detroit and Indiana are going to be the first 2 teams on the board here. Again, it's a 7 o'clock start. I'm going to move back. I was checking out tomorrow's schedule, and it is Indiana -10. It's a 210.5 total, 100.25 implied for Detroit, 110.25 implied for the Pacers. Detroit comes in at 4-22, so that stings a bit. Pacers at 12-18. Injuries: Killian Hayes questionable, Jeremy Grant and Kelly Olynyk out. For Indiana, 3 guys out: Craig, McConnell, and Warren. You've got Indiana coming off a game last night, so they're on the second night of a back-to-back. Detroit's got an island game, so that could affect some of the rotations here. Statistically speaking, Detroit is 7th in the league in pace. Indiana is 25th. Defensive efficiency, not good for Detroit, 23. A little bit better than middle of the pack with Indiana at 12. As far as pricing goes here, Killian Hayes questionable 3.8. You can't go there unless he's ruled in with no limitations. But there are some good deals here if you can get them to have the right game. You have Diallo at 4.3, Sadiq Bey at 4.9, Isaiah Stewart at 5.7, all playable. Frank Jackson at 4K becomes a good target if Killian Hayes is listed as out. The pay-up guy's the obvious choice here, and that's Cade Cunningham, but he's all the way up to 8.6. So, that definitely is a concern. Even though this is the lowest total on the board, it's not that much of a discrepancy. Only 5.5 points in the total separates these 4 games. So there's no standout or no terrible game or team as far as the total. On the side of the Indiana Pacers, you have Brogdon at 8.4, playable for sure. Chris Duarte's been inconsistent of late, especially with Justin Holiday coming back, so not going to go there. Karis LeVert has jumped to 7.5. He keeps drifting up, but can be considered because he's not only getting minutes at the small forward, but when Brogdon goes out, now that TJ McConnell's is going to be out for quite some time, LeVert has played some backup point guard, so that's always a plus. Sabonis a little pricey at 10.5, but a good matchup for him. Miles Turner much more reasonable at 6.7. Don't feel there's a necessity to go to the bench here. All right, game 2, Philadelphia 76ers and Brooklyn Nets. That is at 7:30. Brooklyn is favored by 0.5 point. So there you go. Figure that one out. Lay 0.5. So if the game ties, which can't happen in the NBA, then you lose. But it is what it is. It's 213.5 total. 106.5 Philadelphia implied. 107 for the Brooklyn Nets. Philly comes in 15-14. Brooklyn comes in 20-8. And this is a laundry list of guys out. I mean, it's almost hard to believe there's this many guys listed as out. Philadelphia, Korkmaz, Niang, Riller, Simmons, and Springer. And if you think that's impressive or not impressive, whichever way you want to look at it, listen to this group for Brooklyn. And these guys are already ruled out. COVID's definitely taken an effect. Aldridge, Bembry, Brown, Carter, Harden, Harris, Irving, Johnson, Millsap. Can they play the game? Will end up being the question. That is definitely going to be interesting. There'll be a massive amount of, value in this slate. David Duke just was awesome for me yesterday, but now everybody and their brother is going to be on him. So we'll see how that shakes out. As far as statistically, Philadelphia, second night of a back-to-back. Does Embiid sit? If he does, plug in Drummond and go on down the road. I don't think Embiid plays, to be honest with you. Seth Curry also may sit. He's been dinged up. So that news is obviously imperative. Other than that, though, that is the news from the game. But Philadelphia's second night of back-to-back, watch that. And I'm already plugging in Drummond as my center for right now, and then we'll wait and see what happens. Philadelphia is playing at a very, very slow pace, second slowest in the league at 29th. I think they've been so shorthanded often. I think Doc's got them just playing slower basketball. I mean, they weren't playing super fast last year, but not nearly this slow. So I think, you limit possessions. That gives you a better chance. It's, it takes the game and brings it into chunks as opposed to just up and down the floor. When you're shorthanded or low on talent, you want to eliminate how many possessions the other team is getting. Brooklyn, on the other hand, is second in the league in pace. So monster pace up for Philly. And if we're going to get some of those, substitute guys that are going to get main minutes or huge lift in usage, this could be a key spot on the entire slate. Philly's 20th in defense. Brooklyn is 6th. So, you've got a couple things to look at here on both sides. As far as Philly goes, Tyrese Maxey's been hot at 6'9". He could be a great play. Tobias Harris at 8'7", if Embiid sits, becomes a really strong play. And so would Andre Drummond at 7. If Embiid plays at 11.4, I mean, if he's playing without restrictions on a back-to-back, which I seriously doubt, then obviously you can consider him there. If he sits and say Curry sits, it does bring a few guys into play as well. Maybe a Matisse Thybulle at 3-1, although he really struggles offensively. And then we'll follow what the lineup's going to look like in our Discord. But Maxey and Harris would be where to start if that does take place. All right, on the other side of the ball for the Brooklyn Nets, it looks like we're probably going to have a similarity to yesterday, which is Patty Mills, or the game before last. Patty Mills, David Duke, Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, Nick Claxton. So it changes the entire complexion of things. Mills at 6'6" and Durant at 12'3", which is a big number, but a deserved number. I think are the two go-to guys. David Duke, like I said, he was great for me in this last game, and now he's only up to 4.2. So he's going to play more than likely for me and be a good value. You could consider Griffin at 5, maybe. Claxton's the better place to go, in my opinion, at 3.9. Cam Thomas should get some decent run, too, at 4.7. So, again, we need the news, but it is going to open up a lot of possibilities and a lot of value. Okay, third game. It's 8 o'clock. So we have 7, a 7:30, an 8, and a 9. So they're definitely spread out and positioned well throughout the night for a good DFS night to follow the games. It's the New York Knicks at the Houston Rockets. Knicks are favored by 6.5, 111.25 implied for New York, 104.75 for the Houston Rockets. Knicks come in 12-16. Houston comes in 9-19. Questionable tags for 3 of the Knicks. Nobody listed out as of yet. The Knicks questionable tags: R.J. Barrett, Mr. Quentin Grimes, and Obi Toppin. So you've got three guys that could get in the rotation, specifically Barrett and Toppin, but Grimes has gotten decent minutes lately as well. For Houston, it's definitely much tougher look here. Doubtful is, of course, the rookie Green, and then Christian Wood also is doubtful. Out already, we've got House, Porter, and Wall. So some interesting information there. As far as pace goes, the Knicks are 19th, Houston 3rd, so big pace up for the Knicks. These teams don't play defense well. All that talk last year about the Knicks D, they're 21st, Houston's 24th. This 216 number, although just slightly, is the highest number on the slate. And there's definitely some interest based on the lack of defense that these two teams have been playing. The question will be, where are the minutes going to go in that backcourt? It looks like Rose and Burks could have a good chunk of those. They're 6'3" and 7'1" respectively, can both be considered. Julius Randle, a good pay-up option at 10K, especially with Christian Wood more than likely not playing. Don't want to get in the mix of Noel, Robinson, Gibson, that group. Quickly, possibly off the bench at 5'1", also deserves a mention. For Houston, looks like Eric Gordon will be back because Houston played last night. So they're the team in this game in the second night of a back-to-back. And Gordon sat out the last game. So I love Eric Gordon. He'll be in most of my lineups. He's 5'6". Armani Brooks getting good minutes at 5'4". Garrison Matthews, who's coming back to earth with, not as quite the level that he had played there for about 3-4 games, but he's only 4'6", and you can consider him. Şengün, who was in 100% of my lineups, even though he was coming off the bench. I love that because it brought the ownership down a little bit, and he was absolutely terrific. And he is blowout proof. He's going to get good minutes in close games, and he's going to get decent minutes plus the mop-up minutes in games where they get smoked. Knicks very well could. 6.5, not that big of a number, though. So we should get a decent mixture there. All right. Last game on the slate. We're only doing 4 games after all these massive 13 and 11 game slates. This game is Washington Wizards at the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix favored by 8.5. It's a back-to-back for Washington as well. So that's a little bit rough there for them, and then having to play Phoenix on top of it. Washington's 26th in pace, so huge pace down for Phoenix, but Phoenix is number 1 in pace. So you've got Washington going to get more possessions here, more shots up, makes it very interesting. Washington is 19th in defense. They have continued to drop from top, I think they were 7th at the high peak. So teams are scoring against them, and Phoenix can definitely score the ball. Phoenix, on the other hand, is 2nd in the league in defense. Washington, yes, it's a great pace-up game, but you're facing the 2nd most defensive efficient team in the entire league. As far as the statistics in this game, well, let's look at the records. Washington's 15-14. Phoenix, a very impressive 22-5. You've got Kyle Kuzma questionable, Bryant and Hashimura out. And then, again, it's second night of a back-to-back, so there may be more guys sitting. Phoenix has the rookie Smith is questionable, and then Booker, Kaminsky, Nader, and Sarge are all out. Again, the pace helps Washington, hurts Phoenix, but vice versa on the defensive efficiency. So who falls into play here? The question is, does Spencer Dinwiddie play or not? If not, it's more than likely Aaron Holiday or Raul Neto. One of those guys will step in, both very cheap. So that's something we need to follow there. That makes them a decent play. Bradley Beal at 9K. We had him everywhere yesterday. He was decent. Can he go back-to-back and get big minutes and keep Washington in the game? Certainly a great play to go to. Usage is very good and getting better. Kuzma, if he's healthy at 6'1", you can look at. Not interested in the Gafford-Harrell split, although both guys are decent. You could look for Neto, Avdia, Bertans off the bench, but only in GPPs. For Phoenix, Chris Paul's been solid since Booker went down. He's all the way up to 9.7 now. So, yeah, he's a strong play. But, can you afford one of your key pay-up guys in this spot? That's something we have to decide, because if it does get out of hand, Washington throws in the towel early, that really could hurt the rotation for Phoenix, especially a veteran like Chris Paul. Shaman at 3.6 has just been sort of, muddling around, not somebody that excites me. Mikal Bridges could throw a big game on the board at 5.8, so there's a decent ceiling there. Jay Crowder's been more consistent than usual at 4.7. Then you have DeAndre Ayton at 8.8 that you can consider, but we need to make sure he's going with no minutes restrictions or anything like that. He's been in and out of the lineup the last week or so. Off the bench, in a game like this is usually where one of these 3 guys shines, or sometimes more than that, and that's Cam Johnson at 5.1, Cameron Payne at 5.2, and JaVale McGee at 4.5. I would consider any of those 3 guys just because of the game scripting of this game. Phoenix should have a decent lead. I think they're going to utilize those guys more to rest some of the veterans like Paul, Crowder, and an oft-injured DeAndre Ayton. So you have a lot of options there. Certainly nothing like we had yesterday with a massive amount of games, but there are some really good plays here, some great value, and I think you could make up whatever kind of lineup. That's the one thing about a slate this size with all of this news. You can go stars and scrubs, absolutely. You can also go mid-level pricing, or you can do a mixture. I mean, it's not going to be one dominant way. Like, when you see the 13-game slates, everybody, gravitates to the one or two huge value plays. They pound that, and then it allows them to buy up. So pretty much everybody starts in scrubs. But on a slate like this, where you have a lot of opportunities to build at that mid-level number, you can eliminate some of those riskier, cheaper guys, and just unfortunately have to veer from the top price guys. So I've seen both win. I've seen both approaches be successful. So it's, all about picking the right contest, making sure you keep your bankroll management in check, and then, let's work on picking the right guys together. So appreciate it, getting this out fairly early on Thursday, so you have a chance to look at it throughout the day. Join us at dfscoachtalk.com, that Christmas special where you can join us for a full 12 days for 12 measly bucks. That's it. You can't beat it. You get everything that we've got when you join. All of our lineups, and we do something unique in the industry. We do a coach's clipboard for all of our sports on DraftKings, which gives you 5 core plays and then a selection of other players to choose from. And then as far as Fanduel and Yahoo, we're giving out free full cash lineups on both and GPP lineups for all members. So join us in Discord. Let's watch these changes, make sure we know who's sitting, create situations where we can do some late swap if needed, and let's just keep taking down some cash. We've had a pretty darn good run here. We want to continue it, and we'd love to have you jump in. Let's get those bankrolls all stacked up as we go into a fun weekend of NBA and NFL. So thank you so much for spending your morning or afternoon here with us at Coach Talk. For the entire Coach Talk team, I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach. We'll catch you again tomorrow when we look to crush it in DFS.